guys, we're back. This video, we're going to talk about major scales and pentascales on the staff and at the piano. So, to begin, we're going to take a look at our piano and talk about a couple important definitions we're going to need. So, first of all, if we take a look at the instrument, we need to understand what an interval is. An interval is the distance between any two notes. So if I had C and D, for example, I would say that the interval is 2, 1, 2. So this is a second. If I had C and G, the distance between that is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are a fifth apart. They are 5 notes apart. Specifically in this lesson, to build major scales, we're going to talk about half steps and whole steps. So on the instrument, if you take a look here, C to D, those are 1 letter apart. So that's a kind of a second. They're 2 apart, 1, 2. And B and C are also a second, B, C. Because they are 1 letter apart, B and C, so this would be a second as 2. But if you look, these aren't exactly the same kind of a second, because this one, do you notice how we don't have another key in between B and C? And in C and D, we do have 1 extra key in between. So we have 2 different kinds of seconds. A major second, C to D, or a whole step has this extra key in between, and a half step or a minor second, B to C, does not. So in Western music, because we only have these 12 pitches, a half step is our smallest interval. If you get into music of other cultures, sometimes you'll find quarter tones that there are actually other pitches in between. But for our purposes, we're only going to use these 12 pitches. And so our smallest distance is this half step. A half step is between any 2 keys that are immediately next to each other. So this could be a half step. This is a half step. This is a half step. Okay. You'll notice on the piano, we have only 2 white key half steps, B and C, and E and F. All the other ones are between a black key and a white key, so that would be a half step, etc. A whole step is built out of 2 half steps. So here's C and here's D. So you can see I have C to C sharp would be a half step. C sharp to D would be another half step. So that creates a whole step. A half plus a half is a whole, right? So in order to make our major scales and pentascales, we need to follow a certain pattern of whole and half steps. So let's take a look at a pentascale that we're going to play a lot in piano, our C pentascale. So if we put all of our fingers on the white keys, starting on C, and play, we have a major pentascale, just like that. So we're going to analyze this and do this on the staff to figure out what kind of pattern of whole steps and half steps we have to create that. So let's take a look at our staff. So here we are. I will use black. Here we go. So I played these 5 notes: C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, so this is called a major pentascale. Okay, and just to go over it and have a real concrete definition, I wrote it up at the top. A scale is an ordered collection of pitches. A pentascale is a 5-note scale. So this one only has 5 notes. And let's figure out what kind of whole step and half step pattern we have to create the scale. So if we take a look, C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F, that one's just a half step, F to G, that's a whole step. So on here, I'm going to write whole, half, whole. And often when I'm writing scales, I will usually put a V where the half step is so that we can see that really easily. So one way that you can play these pentascales is to start by saying tonic. That's the name of our first note. Tonic, whole step, half step, whole step. And that will help you build your major pentascale. If we follow that pattern, we can create a major pentascale on beginning on any note. So let's take a look at that pattern one more time. So we need a whole, half, whole. So let's build one together. We're going to start on D this time. So if I go to my piano, I'm going to start with my fingers on D. You can hear that doesn't quite sound the same as our C scale. We're going to have to change one of these notes. So let's check it out. We're going to do it again. So I have tonic, whole step, aha. So right here, playing the white key doesn't give me a whole step. I need to take this and raise it up to the black key. So I'm changing it from F to F sharp. Now let's try it. Tonic, whole step, half step, whole step. There we are. So now I've built a major pentascale. If I was going to write this on the staff, let's take a look at it. So if I wrote my D pentascale, first I would want to make sure that I have one of each letter. D, E, F, G, A. There we go. And then I'm going to need to write a sharp in here. So we said that we needed an F sharp. So the sharp is, or any type of accidental, sharp, flat, natural is going to go on the left side of the note. So this would be my D major pentascale. D, E, F sharp, G, A. Okay? Let's take a look at, now we're gonna practice building a couple more scales, and we're gonna do the whole scale this time. Let's take a look here. Okay, so now we're gonna finish our scale. So let's go back to C. Okay. So here we are, we did our major pentascale. Now we're gonna, let's practice writing one more pentascale, and then we'll do a complete major scale. This time, let's start on F. So this would be our F scale. So my first step, if I wanna figure out how to build that scale, is to write the notes. Okay, so F, G, A, B, C. So I have one of each letter in order. Then I would need to add any sharps or flats if needed. So let's take a look at our piano and see if we need to do that. So on F right here, if I played those notes, it doesn't quite sound right. It doesn't sound like my major pentascale. I'm going to need to change one of these notes. So let's do our pattern. Tonic, whole step, half step. So right here, I don't have a half step. I already know that this note is correct, so I don't want to change it. I need to change this one. So I'm going to lower this from B to B flat so that I can create that half step. And then I need a whole step to finish. So now it should be right. Tonic, whole step, half step, whole step. And voila, there it is. So on my staff then, I would write B flat. And what you'll notice is in all of these scales, the half step falls in the same place, and that's between the third and the fourth notes of the scale, which we also call scale degrees. So a degree just means the order. What order is it in? And this little hat that I'm putting above these numbers, that means degree. So scale degree 1, scale degree 2, scale degree 3, 4, etc. So you can see that our half step is always between 3 and 4 for major. And that's why that quality, that's why we perceive them all as being major, even though we're starting on different notes. It's because we're following the same pattern of whole and half steps every single time. Now, to finish the complete major scale, we just need to extend it a few more notes so that we end up on the note that we started. Pentascales we're going to use a ton for piano, especially playing and transposing. So we'll get familiar with the pentascales, but let's go ahead and finish writing a major scale. So I'm going to switch down to the bass clef now. So here is a major scale. So I'm going to now start and end on the same note. So here is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay? And if we take a look here, our major pentascale, these first 5 notes are the same, right? So it's going to follow that same pattern. This is whole, whole, half, whole. Okay, so there's my half step. Okay, let's figure out what the rest of it would be. So if I look at my piano, here I am on bass C, and I'm going to go ahead and play it. Okay, so if we take a look at those notes, we have tonic, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So just to finish that out then on our iPad here, our treble staff, we need another whole step, half step. Okay, so there you go. So that is your major scale pattern. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, so up here I've written the definition for a major scale. Major scale, a scale following the pattern whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. In other words, half steps between scale degree 3 and 4 and scale degree 7 and 8. Okay, we're going to practice building one of these together. Let's try A. That'll be fun. Let's do A. So the first step is going to be to write all of our notes, and then we'll add any accidentals that we need. I'm going to do it down in the bass clef. We're going to write an A major scale. So I need to start on A. Just to review, this is the F clef. F is here, right? So my A, my A and my F is there. Bass C is here. We're going to start down here, right there. That's A, okay? So I'm going to write all my letters until I get up to A again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, okay? And then I'm going to add any accidentals that I need along the way. So let's go ahead and play the piano. I'm going to play all those white keys. And I'm going to follow my pattern and adjust where I need to. So here we go. Tonic, whole step, whole step. Aha, so this is a half step. I need to change it. So there's a whole step. Tonic, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Aha, so right here I have a half step. I'm going to need to change that note. So F gets raised up. Okay, so there's a whole step. Now I need whole and half. Whole step. Aha, that's a half step, so G needs to get raised as well. And then I need a half step. Aha, and there we are. So tonic, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, so the notes that we changed there, we changed C to C sharp, F to F sharp, G to G sharp. So on my staff, then I need to add those notes in front and to the left side of the note head. So I have A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and there we go. That's my A major scale. Okay, we're gonna try one more. This time, let's do B flat. Now, I will warn you, okay, because it says B flat, we want to make sure at the beginning that we are already doing A flat. So, make sure when you write your notes, you take note, oops, I meant to get my highlighter, there we go. Make sure you take note of the flat and you put the flat in the name. So B flat here, B flat at the end, okay? Now I need to see if I'm gonna have to change any of those notes. Here's a really friendly way to build scales so you don't have to worry about any fingering. There are 8 notes in our scale, and we have 8 fingers right here if we leave out our thumbs. So let's do from B to B. You can lay them all here. And then it's really easy to move anything. This is just to help you with your building. So we need a B flat scale. So already I'm going to change this B to a B flat, change this B to a B flat. And then I'll see if I need to change any other notes along the way. So here's tonic, whole step, half step. Aha, so that one, I need a half step there. E gets lowered to E flat. Okay, keep going. I'll start again. Tonic, whole, half, whole, half. And there we go. That's the B flat scale. So the only other note that I altered was E down to E flat. Okay, so on here then I would add an E flat right here. Okay, and if you double checked, your half steps are going to be between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. Okay, so there you go. So that's major scales and major pentascales. So if you memorize the pattern for your major scale, then the first 5 notes will create the pentascale that you need as well.